Good afternoon, everyone. And just to kind of give a recap, we're reading the lives of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. And I won't give a test at the end when we finish all of them. Right now we're reading Swami Vijnanananda, Hari Prasanna. And we have, I think we just finished the section where he met Sri Ramakrishna and his meetings with him and how they affected him. Then the master died, and we go into after the master's death. If you're following at home, page 596 in God Lived With Them. John, can you hear? Good, okay. And, okay. As a student and an engineer, now, this may be a surprise, but many of our Swamis today have graduated in engineering, and they all are very precise and particular with everyday items. So in 1887, Hari Prasanna graduated from Patna College and then went to the Pune College of Science to study civil engineering. He was a brilliant student and was greatly loved by his professors and classmates. In those days at the College of Science, those who secured first and second places in their examinations would immediately get jobs in either the state government of Bombay, Mumbai now, or the government of India. One of Hari Prasanna's classmates, Radhika Prasad Roy, a poor and meritorious boy, needed a job badly. Hari Prasanna knew that he would secure one of the top positions. So a few days before the final exam, he said to Radhika Prasad, "Brother, the financial condition of your family is not good. If you can get one of the two top positions in the examination, you will definitely get a government job. So I have decided not to appear for the examination this year." He was true to his word. Although Radhika Prasad did not place first or second, he remembered Hari Prasanna's greatness all through his life. Once in college, Hari Prasanna protested the remark of a citizen missionary professor of geology who had sarcastically criticized the Hindu belief in reincarnation. As a result, the professor intentionally gave him a lower mark in geology than he really earned. Despite this, after graduating in civil engineering in 1892, he was given the job of district engineer at Ghazipur in Uttar Pradesh. While in this position, the Varanasi-Ghazipur road was built. Let me tell you, those roads are extremely important, though they are extremely tiresome. And nowadays they have freeways in India. The great yogi, during this time, he met Pavari Baba, the great yogi of Ghazipur, who was highly esteemed by Swami Vivekananda. As a government engineer, Hari Prasanna worked at Etawah, Bulandshahr, Meerut, and other places in Uttar Pradesh. During his years of government service, he kept in close contact with the brother disciples and donated 60 rupees every month to the Ramakrishna monastery. Sometimes the disciples visited him and stayed with him when they were very sick, and he served them with loving care. Any questions about any of that? Okay. Next section, with Swami Vivekananda. Because his father, Hari Prasanna's, died in his childhood, Hari Prasanna had to work until his family was financially secure. He provided for his mother and also for the education of his younger brother. As time went on, however, his uncle began to pressure him to get married. He became disgusted with these attempts to tie him to a worldly life and joined the Ramakrishna monastery at Ulambazar in 1896. He lived there humbly and spent most of his time in japa and meditation. He was a man of few words and did not care for chatting and joking as others did. Swami Vivekananda returned to India from the West in 1897 and took Hari Prasanna with him on his travels in western and northern India. During this tour, they visited the old Hindu temples of Rajputana. Swami Vivekananda discussed the architecture of the future Ramakrishna temple with him and expressed his own ideas as to how the temple should be built. On their return to the monastery, Hari Prasanna drew a sketch of the Ramakrishna temple using Swamiji's ideas as his guide. He also consulted with Mr. Guttar, a noted architect. Swamiji was pleased when he saw the sketch and said, "This temple will certainly come up, but I may not live to see it. I will see it from on high." On 13 February 1898, the Ramakrishna Monastery was moved from Ulambazar to Nilambar Mukherjee's garden house at Belur. Now, this is where Nilambar Babu's house is still open when anyone visits Belur Math, and it's where Mother stayed before Bodhin was built for her. It's also, many of you have heard of the Panchatapas that she did, sitting in the center of 4 fires with the blazing sun overhead. And this is you can go meditate on the roof where she did it. And it's really hot. The site for Belur Math, the headquarters of the Ramakrishna order, was purchased in March 1898. Swami Vivekananda entrusted Hari Prasanna with the task of remodeling the main building and constructing new buildings and the shrine for the monastery. Hari Prasanna drew up the site plan and building plans, prepared estimates, as well as supervised the construction. He did all of this single-handedly. When the construction was completed, Vivekananda consecrated the Ramakrishna Math on 9 December 1898. On 9 May, this is 6 months later only, Hari Prasanna formally took sannyas, final monastic vows. Vivekananda told him, "Do as we have done, take your sannyas directly from the master." Accordingly, Hari Prasanna went to Sri Ramakrishna's shrine and took his monastic vows with the traditional Viraja Homa ceremony. He became Swami Vijnanananda. And this was Swami Swahananda's guru, the last living monastic disciple of Ramakrishna. One day, Swamiji expressed a desire to build a ghat and an embankment on the bank of the Ganga for the Belur Monastery. So he asked Vijnanananda for an estimate. Fearing Swamiji might change his mind, Vijnanananda understated the cost and said it would be approximately 3,000 rupees. This amount made Swamiji happy. He immediately consulted with Swami Brahmananda and ordered that the project be started. As the work proceeded, Vijnanananda realized that the cost would exceed his previous estimate. He humbly expressed his concern to Brahmananda, who asked Vijnanananda to complete the project. Out of compassion for his younger brother, he accepted the responsibility of spending the extra money and risking a scolding from Swamiji. Sometime later, Swamiji asked Brahmananda for the accounts. When he discovered that the expenses had already exceeded the original estimate and the work was still unfinished, he became angry with Brahmananda and vehemently scolded him. The latter endured it calmly. When Swamiji returned to his room, Brahmananda went to his own room and closed the door and windows. After a while, Swamiji regretted his bad temper. Then he called Vijnanananda and said, "Could you check on Raja? What Raja's doing?" Vijnanananda went to Brahmananda's room and found that the doors and windows were closed. He called for him but got no response. When he reported this to Swamiji, he said, "You were a fool. I asked you to find out what Raja was doing, and you say his door and windows are closed. Go back again and tell me what he is doing." This time, Vijnanananda pushed the door open and found Brahmananda on his bed weeping. Vijnanananda said apologetically, "Maharaj, I'm sorry. Today you have suffered terribly for me." Brahmananda said, "Brother, can you tell me what wrong I have done that Swamiji could scold me so harshly? Sometimes it becomes so unbearable that I feel I should go away to some place in the mountains, leaving everything." Returning to Swami Vijnanananda, returning to Swamiji, Vijnanananda reported that Brahmananda was crying. At this, Swamiji rushed to the room, embraced Brahmananda, and said tearfully, "Raja, brother, please forgive me. It is my fault that my temper is short and that I scolded you. Please pardon me." Meanwhile, Brahmananda had regained his composure. Seeing Swamiji weep, he was also moved. Then he said, "What does it matter? You have scolded me because you love me. That is all." But Swamiji continued, "Brother, please forgive me. I know how much the Master loved you and never uttered a harsh word to you. And I, on the other hand, for the sake of this petty work, have verbally abused you and given you pain. I am not fit to live with you. I shall go to the Himalayas and live alone in solitude." "Don't say that, Swamiji," said Brahmananda. "Your scolding is a blessing. How can you leave us? You are our leader. How shall we function without you?" Gradually, both of them became calm. Even the monks had family fights. Vijnanananda later remarked, "I shall never forget that scene in my life. I never saw Swamiji weeping so bitterly. What a bond of love existed between them. Swamiji loved his brother disciples like a mother, and that is why he could not bear any shortcoming in them. He wanted them to be as great as himself, nay, even greater than himself. His love was incomparable." I remember once when Swami Prabhavananda was talking, and he said his desire for all of his disciples was that they should surpass him. He said, "I want all of my disciples to have greater realization than I have had," which I thought was beautiful. One hot summer day, while supervising the construction work of the embankment at Bellarmont, Vijnanananda became thirsty. He noticed that Vivekananda was enjoying a cold drink on his upper veranda. Presently, one of Swamiji's attendants carried a glass to him and said, "Swamiji has sent this cold drink to you." Vijnanananda took the glass and found only a few drops at the bottom. He was disappointed and piqued by Swamiji's practical joke. However, he drank those few drops as prasad, and strangely enough, his thirst was instantly quenched. He was dumbfounded. In the evening, Vijnanananda saw Swamiji, who asked with a smile, "Did you drink that cold juice?" "Yes, I did," reported Vijnanananda. He then described his experience after drinking it, and Swamiji was pleased. Vijnanananda later reminisced about his Bellarmont days with Swami Vivekananda. And this is Vijnanananda talking. "Swamiji used to call me Peshan, an abbreviation for Prasanna. One day I was sitting on the upper veranda of Bellarmont eating puffed rice. Swamiji was passing by. All of a sudden, he grabbed a handful of puffed rice from my bowl and began to eat it like a boy. I remonstrated. Swamiji, why don't you take another bowl of puffed rice? By eating the food that I have defiled, you are making me feel guilty. Laughing, Swamiji left. According to Hindu custom, a senior or highly respected person does not eat from the same plate with a junior person. A junior person would feel extremely ill at ease if this happened. I used to take snuff. One day, Swamiji went to Calcutta and bought a pice worth of snuff in a packet. Handing it to me, he said, "Here's a wonderful present for you." I opened the packet and found the snuff. Seeing me happy, he was happy. But when he became grave, it was difficult to go near him. Then only Raja Maharaj could bring him back to the normal plane. At Bellarmont, Vijnanananda lived in a small room close to Swamiji's room. Once at 2 o'clock in the morning, Vijnanananda saw Swamiji pacing on the eastern veranda. Concerned, he got up and asked Swamiji why he could not sleep. Swamiji replied, "Passion, I was sleeping nicely, and suddenly I felt a jolt, and my sleep broke. It seems to me that there must be a disaster somewhere, and many people are suffering." That night, Vijnanananda could not make sense of the statement. However, he later narrated, "The next morning I saw in the newspaper that at the same time Swamiji awakened, there had been a terrible volcanic eruption near the Fiji Islands, and many people were killed. I was surprised to read the news, and then I realized that Swamiji's nervous system was more responsive to human misery than a seismograph." Once, boy, talk about becoming one with everyone. That would be it. The goal, becoming one with all of humanity. Once in the dead of night at Bellarmont, Vijnanananda heard a pathetic cry from Vivekananda's room. He thought that perhaps Swamiji cried out because he was sick. Vijnanananda silently entered Swamiji's room and asked, "Swamiji, are you not well?" Immediately, Swamiji became quiet and replied, "Oh, Passion, I thought you were sleeping." When asked the cause of his cry, Swamiji tearfully said, "Brother, thinking of the poverty and suffering of the people, I cannot sleep. My mind is restless with pain, so I am praying to the Master, let good befall our people and let their suffering go away." Vijnanananda then consoled Swamiji and asked him to sleep. That night, Vijnanananda was deeply moved to see how intensely Swamiji felt for his countrymen. Vijnanananda had great love and respect for Holy Mother, but he seldom visited her in Calcutta. One day, he went with Swamiji to Balaram's house in Calcutta while Holy Mother was staying there. Swamiji said, "Passion, did you salute Holy Mother?" "No, Swamiji, I did not." "What? Go right now and bow down to the Mother," said Swamiji. Accordingly, Vijnanananda went to Holy Mother and bowed down to her from a distance, bending his head to the floor. As soon as Vijnanananda got up, from behind he heard Swamiji say, "What is this, Passion? Does anybody salute the Mother in this way? Bow down to her by prostrating yourself on the floor. Holy Mother is the Mother of the universe." Swamiji then prostrated himself to the Master, to the Mother, and Vijnanananda did likewise. Later, Vijnanananda remarked, "I could not imagine that Swamiji would follow me to the Mother." Keeping track, making sure. As he said earlier, Swamiji was like a mother to them all. Once while at Bellarmont, Vijnanananda was wondering about Swamiji's work in the West and his relationship with Western women. Now, we all know when Swamiji came to the West, it was almost completely the women of England and America who took care of him, took him around, booked him for speaking tours, took care of his mother, his money, took care of his bookings for him, and basically he became their very wise child that they took care of. And he started bringing them back to India, which was unthinkable for a monk to be traveling with women, and especially Western women. But that's what he did. So Vijnanananda is wondering about his relationship with Western women. Seeing Swamiji alone in his room, Vijnanananda asked him frankly, "Swamiji, while you were in the West, you associated with the women there, but didn't the master teach the contrary in this respect? He used to say, a monk should not even look at the portrait of a woman. He emphatically told me not to be close to women, however devoted they might be. So I'm wondering, why did you do so?" Immediately, Swamiji became very grave, and his face and eyes turned crimson with anger. After a while, he said, "Well, Peshin, do you think that you have understood about what the master is all? Do you think that what you have understood about the master is all that he is? What do you know about the master? Do you know that the master eradicated the idea of the difference between male and female from my mind? Is there any distinction of sex in the Atman? Moreover, the master came for the good of the entire world. He did not come to liberate only men. He will save all, both men and women. You people want to belittle the master by measuring him with the yardstick of your own intellects. Whatever the master told you is true. You follow that implicitly, but to me, his instructions were different. He not only gave me instructions, he clearly showed me everything. He holds my hand. Whatever he makes me do, I do." Gradually, Swamiji became calm. Noticing Vijnanananda's embarrassment, he said with a smile, "Can a nation rise or become great unless the primordial energy that lies dormant in women is awakened? I have traveled all over the world and found that women are neglected more or less everywhere. But this is particularly deplorable in India. That is why our nation has been degraded to such an extent. As soon as there's an awakening in women, you will see that the whole nation will rise up in its pristine glory. And for that reason, Holy Mother has come. With her advent, there has been a stir among the women of all countries. This is just a beginning. You will see many more things later. A great soul sees greatness in others. In the last years of his life, Swamiji's mind was mostly absorbed in God consciousness. One day, Swamiji remarked, "I cannot say anything to Peshin because I see the master in him." To this, Vijnanananda responded, "The master dwells in every being. It is no wonder that you see the master in me through your divine sight." "No, Peshin," said Swamiji, "it's not like that. I see distinctly that the master has made his habitat in you nicely." Vijnanananda humbly replied, "Swamiji, you see whatever you want to, but I don't understand it." Another time, Vijnanananda asked Swamiji, "Well, does the master accept the food which we offer in the shrine?" "Yes, he does," replied Swamiji. "A ray comes down from his third eye and touches the food. If you want, I can show it to you today in the shrine." Vijnanananda fully believed that what Swamiji had said and proceeded no further. This mutual love and trust of Sri Ramakrishna's disciples made their lives joyful. Vivekananda was a man of varying moods, like we haven't noticed already. He was very, he was very changeable, it seemed, from the outside, but not really. Sometimes he was playful, and then everyone would approach him freely. But when he was serious, seldom would anyone dare to approach him. One day, in a jovial mood, he said to Vijnanananda, "Passion, it is time to write a new smriti, scripture pertaining to social, moral, and ethical laws, according to the need of the present age. The old smritis are now obsolete." Vijnanananda asked, "Swamiji, why will the people accept our smriti?" Immediately, Swamiji, like a querulous boy, complained to Brahmananda, "Rakhal, listen. Patient says that the people won't accept my message." Brahmananda pacified him, saying, "What does Patient know? He's a mere boy. The people will definitely accept your messages someday or other." Like a reassured boy, Swamiji said joyfully, "Patient, did you hear what Rakhal said? The people will positively accept my message." Brahmananda's prophetic words have come true. And I think we'll stop there this evening. We are going to be next week in Prayag, which is where they have the Kumbh Melas, Allahabad or Prayag. Okay, any questions so far? Any comments? I think they pretty much speak for themselves. Okay, on Saturday, the 25th, we're going to have here at 5 o'clock, Swami Chetanananda is looking pretty well this evening, so he'll be doing the gospel reading of Sri Ramakrishna here in the temple. At the same time, at 9:30, the Kali immersion will happen in Newport, and we take a boat out of Newport, which leaves about 9 or 9:30, so it's a big ride down there to get there in time. Talk to Hollywood about signing up for the boat. Sunday, the 26th, at 11 a.m., Swami Mahayogananda, who's just back from India, will be speaking on divine immersion. And then next week, we will have the Wednesday class as usual. And then I will get to you. We will figure out what we're doing in November. We haven't quite got it set down yet, but we will have it. Okay, it's good to see you all. Everyone looks pretty healthy, pretty happy. Good to see you. Okay, we'll end with the chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. May see some of you down there at the immersion. We're going to try and make it. Okay. So how's your tooth?
I have to get the crown replaced. It's the one that they just did.
That shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I asked him, is it going to be super expensive? And he said no. So I think he recognizes that it's the one that he just did.
It just happened. That's not good.
Yeah.
Okay. Mushy stuff. When do you do it?
I'm scheduled for, I have it in my pocket. I'm scheduled for November 6th at 2 p.m., but I'm on the callback list.
Okay.
And your drops are in the mini fridge.
Thank you. How much are they?